Hey guys, my name is Alex from House of Bikes. This is the Magicycle Ocelot Pro. Today we're going to unbox it and assemble it. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to take you guys step by step. Most of the tools you need actually come in the box from Magicycle, but you're going to want to get yourself a set of clippers because there's a lot of zip ties in there. You don't want to do that with scissors. You get a Phillips screwdriver, you get some Allen keys as well, a 2.5, 4, and a 5. It comes with a 10 mil wrench, but if you got a deep socket, that's going to make your life a bit easier when we put the headlight on. It also comes with a 15 mil wrench. We have a pedal wrench here and a tire pressure gauge and a tire pump to put air in the tires. All right, we're good to go. Let's do it. When you open this up, you're going to notice there's a lot of padding in here. This keeps the bike nice and protected during shipping. That's always a good thing. More padding. And this is the box from Magicycle that has our tools and our charger and whatnot. It's got the owner's manual. Your tools are here as well. You got a charger. You get the white glove treatment. Check this out. How nice is that? The headlight, which we're going to need, we're going to set that aside. And our pedals as well. So just start tackling all these zip ties one by one. There's a lot of them in here. And our goal with the initial bunch of zip ties is to loosen up the front wheel, which will be the first thing we remove out of this box. Now we can take the front wheel out. Comes out with the fender as well, and some more packaging. And we're going to keep those aside for now while we deal with more zip ties in here. With most of those zip ties out of the way, it's now time to get the bike out of its box. So if you don't have a helping hand, one of the things that makes it easier is if you do it diagonally. That way you can just pull the bike up much more easily. So you can lift from the frame and the fork, just tilt the box your way. And it comes out pretty easily considering it's an 80-pound bike. Alright, so as you can see here, the bike is able to support its own weight. It's got this base plate at the bottom of the fork, which keeps it nice and centered. And this allows us to remove more of the packaging and zip ties that protects the bike here. So we can finally have access to everything we need. Alright, now it's time to mount the handlebars. So you'll notice the stem is turned the wrong way. We're going to fix that right now. Just got to loosen the pinch bolts. They're 5 millimeters. And once they're loosened, well, they're not loose enough. Alright, so you rotate the stem. It's facing nice and straight now towards the front of the bike. Now you just guide the handlebar under here to let it come up. And in order to mount it, we need to undo these 4 millimeter bolts at the front of the stem. All right, once you get the stem out, there's washers here on these bolts. You don't want to lose those. Now you can rotate the bars and place them approximately centered here. You don't have to get it perfect yet because obviously we got to put the cap back on. It's kind of annoying to do this, but once you get your first one in there, you're good to go. If you need better leverage, just get up and don't be lazy and use the leverage you need. And just make sure the bars kind of make sense where they're set up, and then you can do the final tightening on these bolts in a cross pattern. If you have any questions about how to do this, just drop them in the comments below and we'll be glad to give you a hand. With the bars mounted, we're going to clip off one more zip tie on our display. Get rid of the packaging, and there she is. All right, so our next step is going to be to put the wheel on. Before we do that, you want to get rid of this cap. All right, so at the bottom of the fork, you have a quick release lever. You want to undo that and undo it from the other end too, until you're able to pull it out. And you'll notice there's these little cone springs. You don't want to lose those. So another thing you need to do here is make sure you remove the spacer that's in your brakes. That keeps the pads separate so that you don't accidentally squeeze your pads together with the brake while there's no wheel in there, because what that's going to do is make your pads pretty much impossible to separate. So you don't want to do that. All right, we're ready to put the wheel on. So what you want to do is line up your brake rotor inside your caliper, and wow, look at that, I got it on the first try. So yeah, you line up the caliper to go inside your brakes, and then the bottom of the fork lines up where the axle goes. And once you have the wheel on, you can make your life a bit easier by putting the kickstand down, because it's going to support the bike while you put the axle through. Cool, so the front wheel's on. Now the next step is to mount our headlight. Our headlight's gonna go here. And actually, before we mount the headlight, we're gonna put the fender on. Well, we're kind of gonna do them at the same time. But, you know, sometimes you can improvise with the order of things. So just guide your fender under the fork here. Bracket just has to clear it. Just like that. And now you got to remove this bolt. You can just do it with your fingers on the Ocelot. There's a washer at both ends here. All right, so don't drop or lose your washers. Now you grab the headlight, kind of prop it up so that you get better access to its mounting hole. And you're going to route the bolt through the headlight, and then through the bracket on the fender, and then the bolt comes out the other side. Then you put the washer, and finally the nut. Kind of hard to see it from that angle, but you know, it's not rocket science here. Now you need a 5mm Allen to tighten these. And this is the part where you're using that 10mm deep socket, which makes it so much easier than using the 10mm wrench that comes in the box. Okay, once you get close to the final position, don't fully tighten it yet. Let's get the fender mounted first on the bottom of the fork here. For this, you're going to use a 4mm. And then what you want to do is just like guide the arms of the fender into position so you can put the bolt back in through the little slot there at the bottom of the arm. All right, give that a quick tighten. Same thing on this side. All right, so once you make sure that everything is kind of straight here, we're looking good. Fender's nice and straight, and you just want to like lift it a little bit and kind of tighten this about halfway through here. All right, that's nice and tight. Now you want to lower your headlight so that it's kind of flush with the ground. And now let's hook it up. So to hook up the headlight, you do it on this wire here. Just grab it like so. You'll notice there's a little arrow that indicates where to clip it, and there's an arrow on this as well. So if you line up the arrows, you're gonna have great success. Of course, it helps if you see the arrow. Line them up, push them in. We're good. Cool. Now what you can do, guys, is you can grab a key here. There's always on a key ring on a zip tie, of course, by the handlebar. So with the key, you can slide it in here and open up the battery. It comes out just to that spot there. There's another latch. You then twist to the right and it allows the battery to come out. There you go. So we're gonna bring it indoors. We're gonna charge it. Always a good idea to charge these batteries indoors. So while the battery's charging, what we can do next is remove the seat, and we're gonna give it a little bit of lube so that it doesn't seize up on us over time. Just some all-purpose grease is good here. You don't want to go overboard with it, but it's not a bad idea to have some grease so that, you know, over time, metal and metal, they like to form a bond. And we're gonna put some in here as well. Now, if anyone's thinking dirty things right now, that's on you. So now our seat can slide in much more easily. And with that task accomplished, it's time to mount our pedals. One last zip tie. Great success. All right, guys, these pedals have sides. So these say L for left. That means they're gonna go on that side. These say R for right. Look, you can just match the letters. Kids could do it. So what's relevant here is usually you go clockwise to mount, well, to screw something in, which is what we're doing. But you'll see on the other side, we're actually gonna go the opposite direction. So on the left side, what you do is you mount your pedal going forward, which is actually counterclockwise. It's one of the few times that you go counterclockwise to screw something in. So now what you want to do is go over the bolts and make sure everything's nice and tight the way it should be. I just noticed here the bars are way too inward, so we're gonna loosen them up a little bit and straighten them out with these 4mm bolts at the front. Cool, so we know we're good there. Now let's go through all the bolts on the bike one by one. You know, most of the time they're fine, honestly, but it's not a bad idea to do this, at least when you're first building your bike up. Make sure everything is nice and tight the way it should be, so that there's no surprises when you ride. Some of the pretty important ones are the brake caliper bolts. You definitely want to make sure those are on properly. Those are very tight. Sometimes the kickstand bolts are some of the only ones that are not as tight as they should be, like on this one here. So you want to make sure they're tight because it's an 82-pound bike, guys. So that's a lot of weight on the kickstand. And again, these caliper bolts, I want to make sure they're on properly. A few more bolts to check on the right side. Oh, the derailleur bolt was actually a little loose here, so see, that's why we do this. It's always good to check. Okay, we got the battery back. These things take like 4 to 7 hours to charge, but for the sake of show and tell here, we're gonna put the battery back on the bike. You always want to slide it from the bottom first and then get it to hook up at the bottom, and then you can clip the top up. I just noticed the bell is upside down. Actually, it's upside down most of the time. Reason why is it's placed like that so it doesn't get damaged during shipping, because it would be in the way. So a little Phillips is all you need to put your bell in the right position. A little bit of upside down coordination helps too. The bell works. Cool. So we're pretty much ready to fire her up. There's a little power button just at the top of the controls here. We're gonna push that down. Our display is gonna light up. Magicycle says hello. And once it's fully lit up, we're ready to give her a test. Little squeeze of the throttle, and there she goes. The Ocelot Pro is ready to roll. This is a great e-bike, guys. It's got a huge motor, a huge battery. You can enjoy it all day long. It's comfortable. It's kind of everything you'd want in an e-bike like this. So you're looking at the pearl white version. It also comes in army green and space gray. If you're looking at purchasing an Ocelot Pro, of course, we'd love to earn your business. You can check them out at houseofbikes.com. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Thanks for checking out this video. We'll see you next time.